So we've been asked to tell you a little bit about our previous life before we started sailing.
Yeah.
So we're going to make this video, which we don't know how long it will be, but just tell us a little bit about us and our life history and what we've done and things like that. So I'll let Carla start.
Okay, so I was born in Angola, and when I was about 10, 11, we had to leave the country. So my parents decided to go to Portugal for a while and decide what to do with our lives. And when we were there, just for a couple of months, my father was offered a job in Brazil. So we moved. We just went to Brazil, and we lived there for 15 years. And
In
then
Rio.
in Rio, yeah, in Rio. And then so I stayed there until I was like 21. When I was 21, I decided to go to San Francisco for a while. So I went to San Francisco. I was supposed to go there for just 3 months, and I stayed 3 years.
See, it's all terribly exciting. My life was really boring. I was born and grew up in a city called Gloucester in England, which is over towards the west of the country. And I had a very normal, boring, uninteresting.
No travel.
Furthest I went on my holidays was Jersey. My father took me to Jersey. And actually, though, around about the age of 12, we bought our first boat. And it was a very small little sailing rowing boat. And we started to learn to sail. And gradually we worked through different sailing boats like the Enterprise. And my brother and I sailed the Hornet. And we landed up really sailing farballs, and we had 4 farballs, 2 of which I built from a sort of kit form when I was around about 16, 18. That was my winter job. And when I was 17, I got rather interested in the theatre, and I went to work at the local theatre in Gloucester doing lighting and sound. And at 19 I went to Bristol Old Vic Theatre School to study stage management and stage design and mechanics of the theatre and various things like that. And then I had a career working in the West End and around the country in various different theatres, and rather good fun actually. I really quite enjoyed it. Yeah, I miss it. And I met some really good friends, 2 of which I'm still in contact with after all these years. And one is Grenville, I mention every now and then in my blog, and he's a great sailor as well, so we had a lot in common. So what happened after you came back from Rio?
So when I came back from San Francisco to Rio again, then I decided that I didn't like to live in Rio any longer. So we moved back to Portugal, which I lived for the next 20 years. I raised my 2 kids there, and I used to work as a real estate agent for the last 20 years. So, and then 6 years ago, 6 years now.
6 years ago.
I decided to move. I was forced to move to somewhere because a crisis in Portugal. So I ended up with
Economic crisis.
Yeah. So I had to choose to go somewhere, and I chose to go to UK because it was very close home. It was just 2 hours away.
And you spoke English.
Yeah.
Or American English, didn't you? Okay, so I, after working in the theatre for about 7 years, I started to get involved with conferences, mainly because we had a conference centre attached to the theatre I was working in Warwick. And I got to know people, and I realised you could earn a lot more money doing lighting and sound in conferences, and also it gave me the opportunity to travel. So I started doing that freelance, and after a couple of years I started my own company, and which was called Rapport, and we produced corporate events for people like British Airways and British Oxygen Company around the UK, and I started to fulfil my dream of travel, which I really wanted to do. And I also bought my first yacht, which was a Trapper 28, Trapper 500, 28 feet, and commonly known over in the stateside as a CNC 27, I believe. And so I had a few yachts during that period. I had my Trapper, and then I had a Danish boat called a Granada 31. Then I had a Catalina 36. And finally I commissioned a boat in Finland to be built called a Rondo 33, which was a fantastic boat, I have to say. Absolutely beautiful, and watching it be built and having it made was a real treat. And then I sold that, and by that time I had 2 children, and the economy wasn't doing that well in the UK, and we were struggling with the business, and eventually pretty well everything sort of stopped. And I had to reinvent myself, and I reinvented myself doing conference production again. And during the sort of last 10 years when I was working, I was doing events all around the world. I worked in 44 different countries, and including places like Australia, Saudi Arabia, America, South America, Barbados, Antigua. And I eventually went on to produce a G8 Summit in London back in 2013, and then some other international global events. And I think it was around about 2016 I decided I'd had enough and stopped. And renovated some houses, which was completely different. I just got fed up of employing people, to be honest, I think. And also dealing with clients. Yeah. So what happened? Carry on with your story.
Okay, so when I went back to UK, I thought I was never going to be, that's the funny thing, because I thought I was never going to be around the sea anymore. I thought it was the end of my, boating life, because we always had motorboats, and we always fish. My parents were very good scuba diving, fishing, and so I thought, okay, I'm moving here, for this grey and runny country,
Yep.
and I will never live by the sea again or go to the sea again.
Well, you've had the Thames, that's tidal.
Yeah, so then as you start in a new country, new life in a new country, I did a lot of things. I did what I had to do to pay my bills. And then I went back to university to do health and social care. I ended up working as a PA at the end. So did men in between we met.
In between we met. We met at High Wycombe railway station. That's what we say. High Wycombe railway station for the first time.
That's the truth.
It's true. And we started getting together and seeing each other, and Carla was living in London and I was living in High Wycombe. I was doing a bungalow, that's a single floor house up at the time, renovating it. And gradually we got to like each other a bit more, and then in January 2017 we got married in Barbados. With our 4 children
on
there,
the beach.
on the beach, which was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And 2 days after we got married, while we were sitting there, Carla said to me, well, why don't we sail around the world? I hadn't even thought about it, to be honest.
Oh, he's a liar.
I'm not. I hadn't thought about it. I thought, one summer in Greece would be good. Little did I know
Okay,
Greece.
he never thought about it, and he just said, okay, yes, let's go.
Yeah, I did, yeah, let's go. So we managed to sell the house that we'd converted, and we bought another property during 2017, and then realised that the market had gone off in the UK. And so as our plan was to buy the boat in 2018 and go in 2019, wasn't it?
Yes.
That was our plan.
We're going to wait another year to go. Yeah.
But
we couldn't wait.
We couldn't wait. No, too many Delos videos and the Vagabond videos and Ram videos for us to wait any longer.
Yeah.
So
kind of kept us going, wasn't it? And
it did.
Anxiety started to build.
And then once we managed to sell the house, it was panic, wasn't it? And if you watch video number 1, we tell you about how we bought the boat and the traumas we had buying it. So, but it was real panic at that point.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is it. That's
Yeah.
what we're going to do.
Yeah, and we're going.
Okay.
And here we are. What,
Yeah.
4 months, 5 months later?
5 months
And,
later, it's been wonderful.
Yeah,
And it's kind of hard to believe still that we are doing this.
yeah, it is. It is.
It is,
It is.
isn't it? But
It still feels like a dream.
yeah.
And if any of you are thinking about doing it, I'd just say get on and do
Yeah,
it.
just do it.
Just
Just
do
do
it.
it. It's better than you can expect.
Yeah.
And it's just a wonderful life. It's
Even
it's-
just things like going and hunting for water. I know it sounds a bit of a pain, or buying diesel and everything, but it's all part of the
It's-
fun of it
yeah.
all. And
it's part of the life now.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we,
yeah.
we kind of enjoy everything.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So that's answered the questions which we've been asked. Well,
Yeah.
where did we come from? Were we rich? No. And we had to sell the house in order to be able to afford to do this. And it's been great, really, isn't it?
Yeah. No regrets.
No regrets at all.
No,
No.
no.
And we just want to keep it going for as long as we can.
We just had to go to London like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was awful for
Yeah.
us. It was
Yeah.
just terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't enjoy
so
it at all.
now we are kind of wondering what's going to happen at the end of this. You know,
Yeah.
are we going to be able to go back one day, live in land again?
I don't know. So
It's
it's not even worth thinking about, to be
no,
honest.
not yet.
It's not really worth thinking about.
No, not yet.
So this is, we call these rambles, and every now and then we do a ramble and we put it on our Patreon site. And really it's us talking about our thoughts, our feelings, what's happened over the last few weeks, and giving you a little bit more of an insight, or our patrons a little bit more insight into our everyday life and our feelings and thoughts about it.
Yeah.
And maybe we're a bit more honest there.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say we were.
So we decided to put this one on YouTube as well, so
Yeah.
you can kind of know what we do on
Yeah.
Patrons as well.
And it's out of sequence,
Yes.
so it's
So,
not
Yeah.
one of the norm.
Mhm.
So thank you very much again for watching and listening to us witter.
Okay, if you have any more questions, please leave in the comments. We will try to
Yep.
answer them
Yep.
or making another video about them.
Yeah.
And
And one day we'll get round to a live stream,
yeah,
but
I'm
only
looking
when we
for-
get enough people asking us.
Yeah, I'm looking for that.
It wouldn't work here though, would it?
No,
Can hardly get anything to
that's
work here.
that's the bad side of this life. It's a Wi-Fi.
Yeah, terrible,
It's terrible.
terrible.
It's terrible, really is.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
A constant problem.
Yeah. Well, the anchorage is filling up. The Italians have this thing whereby they rent a little boat for the day and they go out and they sit in an anchorage
For the whole
for the whole day. And the day trippers are coming in. It's rather a beautiful spot.
It is beautiful.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's see. That's it. Okay,
it.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.